welcome back, viewers. And we've left out, just before the break, we left on about you opening your business and about saving money where possible. Can we continue from there?
Yes, I mean, obviously you save money to accumulate money. That's the whole idea. And you'll come to a stage where you can then invest that money into lots of different things, such as marketing and getting more and more business. But in the early days, my view is that you have to really drill down on exactly what it is that you need for your business and make sure that it's affordable and that then it will generate income. There is no point in having things that won't generate you any income.
Okay. And how about staffing? You know, once you've actually opened up your business, how?
Yeah, I mean, there is it's really important to have staff, because you as a business owner can't do everything, because you will be expected to come in and open the shop, to come in and speak to the clients, to do the accounts, do the banking, and then close the shop at the end of the night. So you need some people who will be able to take some of that off you, so that you can concentrate on the things that you as a person are good at, which is selling, which is buying, costing the items. One thing I found was that going to the post office, I was losing an hour a day going to the post office into the town. So that I needed to sort out, because that's an hour that I was losing every day. So you have to drill down and say, right, where do I need my staff and what level do I need? Again, if you bought a staff who's going to do your job that you're good at, it's not cost effective. It's more cost effective to have people at the lower end who will be able to do the lower end stuff, so that it frees up your time. And what I did immediately, I took on an apprentice. And there's lots of funding available for people to take on apprentices across the country. In my area, we were able to tap into a lot of funding for apprentices, and we're continuing to do that. I also looked at family and said, look, is anyone around who can give me a hand with this? And I had, during the initial months, I had family members coming in and doing things for me. Okay. Even answering the telephone was very good. Yeah,
helps. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing the experience with us. Now, obviously, our viewers want to hear a bit about succession planning.
Yes.
Okay, and I want you to give us a good explanation on that side.
I mean, succession planning is a myriad. It's a big area, but what it means is basically what happens once you're gone. What happens if suddenly you die? What happens to your business? What are you going to do? Generally, partnerships die if a person dies. It's no longer a partnership. So what happens, and what we do as a law firm, when we draft agreements, when we draft business proposals, we also say to the client, what are you going to do afterwards? What's going to happen to the business once you've gone? Do you want to sell it? Do you want your children to take over the business? What about your assets? What's going to happen to them? And what we do is we try and set up wills, we try and set up trusts, and those sorts of things to help with the succession.
Okay, so what you're saying is, for succession planning, they need to have wills in place. Okay, and obviously you understand very well about wills. Okay, what is important? What are the important things that they need to have in the will?
Well, you will have an interest in a business. Okay, if it's a partnership or a company, you will have an interest in that business. Now, if you're not careful, you will lose that interest in that business once you die. And obviously, in our community, we want our businesses to pass on to our children. So what we say is, if you put that interest into the will and you give it to someone who you want to give it, your children or your partner, then they can carry on that business. Okay, but of course the problem is they also carry the liability of that business. But we can word the will so that they only carry it on as a going concern rather than a liable business, a liability business. Property, you may own a freehold in the property that you are operating from. You may own 3 or 4 houses. those need to be given in a will to people that you want to give it to, rather than once you die people squabbling or fighting over who should get what. You can decide that while you're alive.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Exit strategy, which is part of succession planning, you need to say, well, what's going to happen if that business fails, or if I die, what should happen to that business? And you have to have a strategy in place about what happens to that business. And we can help develop that, whether it's a will or a trust or an agreement. We can have all of that in place.
What can we put in place for people who's retiring? Is that part of succession planning? Or?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, we all want to retire and we want to earn an income. Most people will sell the business, particularly, I mean, restaurant owners, you know, I've seen they come to a certain age and they think, right, that's it, I'm going to sell the business. Another way of doing it is, well, keeping the business, but you become a director who earns money from that business as being a non-executive director of that business. So what you've got is other directors who are running the business, but you're still earning an income from it. And you remain as a business owner. If you want to completely retire from the business, well, do you then get paid off by the current directors to be, or do you earn a pension from that company? All of these things, they have to be dealt with through the company process. The other directors have to agree within, and a resolution has to be passed. But we can help develop all of those strategies as well.
So those can be put in place.
Yes.
See, that's very important, I feel, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, people's retirement is something like 75, 80, well, not whatever the retirement, but people are surviving longer nowadays. So I think in terms of having something like that in place is very important, isn't it?
Well, look, the pensions that we are going to get when we retire is going to be next to nothing. It's not going to be anything like the money that people are earning these days. So you have to find a way of earning that money once you retire. And 20 years ago, it wasn't as bad. Well, say 30 years ago, it wasn't as bad. You could still earn a good pension from the state government. But you have to have policies and strategies in place so that when you retire, you're earning enough for you to survive. We are not going to work until the age of 80, but our lifespan now is going to, you know, 40 years ago it was 65, 70. Now you're looking at 80 and 85 years old. That's how long we're going to be living for. You're not going to work beyond 65. So you need to plan how you're going to survive from the age of 65 to 85, another 20 years, and where that money is going to come from.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, and viewers, I'd like to remind you once again about the will. I think that's a very important part of our life, actually. What we find in our community, most people are not doing wills or making wills, whether it's for business, you know, or whether it's just a personal will. It's so important because once a person passes away, what is found is that the children are suffering in terms of putting the paperworks together. Putting the paperworks together and everything, and it is a lot of headache.
It is,
but that can be saved by just having a will in place, and a lot of aggro, you know, amongst families or business partners, etc.
Yeah, that's right. And we're getting inquiries for Islamic wills as well now. You know, so you can have Islamic wills where it mirrors.
Oh, you do Islamic wills?
Yes, it mirrors the Islamic requirements. Remember, when we die, we will have a lot of assets which needs to be passed around from to our children. Now, children can end up arguing about what each of them should have. But if you set it down now in a will, doesn't matter what they argue about, that's what's going to happen. A will is what you want to happen once you die. So it's really important, and because we are getting wealthier as a community, Bangladeshi community, getting wealthier and wealthier, so they need to have that planning. You know, without a will, you won't be able to, or without what we call is probate, you won't be able to extract money from someone's bank account. You will need to go through a process to deal with that, and the will helps that process. It makes it a lot smoother.
Just enlighten me a bit on Islamic will and Is it accepted in the English laws?
Yes, it is. I mean, remember, a will is what you want to happen to your assets, and you know, we know people who are giving money to different organizations, you know, because they've got no one else to give the money to. So a lot of money goes to charity. If that's what you want to do, then that's it. So the will won't interfere with Sharia law, the courts won't interfere with the Sharia law when it comes to wills. And we have a distinctive way of distributing assets under Islamic law. And what we do is we incorporate that into a will which this country's courts will look at and say, this is what this person wanted. If we didn't have that, then the assets won't be distributed in accordance with Sharia law. It will be distributed in accordance with probate, which is it will pass down to the next of kin. If you don't have a will, it will pass down immediately to your partner and then your children, and if there are no children, then it, you know, the members of the family.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we've come to the end of the show, and my final question to you would be, do you have any advice you can provide for businesses to our viewers?
Yeah, be confident in yourself, in your ability. The reason why you are setting up a business is because you're confident about making money and confident about your own ability. But you will come up to hurdles which will, you know, question that confidence. So be confident, that's the first thing. Do your research. You know, do your research. It's really important that you know what you're getting into and know where you're going to make money from. It's all about making money. And then have plans in place and strategies in place for things. You know, what are you going to do if you have this? What are you going to do if you have that? And all of these things are part of what a business is. You're actually mentally always doing this. As a business person, you're mentally thinking, what happens if I do this? What happens if that happens? But what I'm suggesting is, if you have that thought, write it down. Have a team behind you, whether it's a legal team, an accountancy team, your family members, friends. Have that team behind you so that you can ask them questions. Networking is very important. You know, and when we say networking, we think, I'll go out and meet someone you've never met before. But actually, you'll find within your circle of friends, you know, if you give them a nudge and say, what do you think about this situation? They'll come up with lots of good ideas which you can incorporate into your business.
Actually, I'm really happy you mentioned that. Actually, networking is so important even within the circle of friends, you know, because it doesn't matter if they know you or if these people are within your community, they know you. It's not necessary they can always remember that you provide that service, you know. So it's important to constantly network amongst the community and outside, but networking is a very important part of marketing.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. And also, you know, people won't immediately give you the work. So as a lawyer, I told everyone that I'm going to set up my own practice. They didn't immediately say, oh, we've got all this work to give to you. But 2 years down the line, someone wants to buy a house. They come to me and say, you know, can you do the conveyancing? Someone's had an accident. Someone's got a dispute with someone who's not paying them, and that's from 2 years ago. You know, when I told people that this is the kind of work that I'm doing, it's starting to come together. And mashallah, it's very good for me. And
congratulations on that, you know, and I'm very happy that it's come to 2 years now, and many years to go ahead as well. We've come to the end of the show, viewers, and once again I thank my guests for coming on to the show, and I thank you viewers for watching Business Today. Now viewers, I've learned a few things today, and I hope you have as well. And remember, you can still email us with any further questions you may have, and I promise they will be answered. Once again, I want to request, if you know of anybody, any successful businessman that you feel has been very successful in their field, please do be in touch with us. We'd like to highlight them, or would like to bring them onto the show and ask them about their success, how they have achieved the success. And I think that is very important. So if you can help somebody or help NTV in terms of finding some really good business people who's done really well for themselves, please do email us. And our email is businesstoday@europentv.com. That's businesstoday@europentv.com. ntv.com. So don't forget, viewers, you can visit our website, which is www.businesstodayshow.co.uk. That's businesstodayshow.co.uk. And do watch our YouTube channel, which has many shows that has happened in the past. You can watch today's show again if you want, and you just have to search Business Today at NTV or Business Today with M A Mukit Miah, and it'll come up. So that's it for today, viewers, and for now, tomorrow's business is Business Today.